So, if you're trying to land a product management job in 2026 or anytime in the near future, listen up. The old playbook? It's pretty much useless. Today, we're going to walk through a totally modern framework that flips the script. We're not talking about a job hunt, we're talking about a product launch.
All right, let's just get right to it with a tough question. Be honest with yourself. Are you actually running a strategic job search, or are you just, spraying and praying, blasting out applications and hoping something sticks? It's super common, super frustrating, but there's a much, much better way.
I mean, think about it for a second. As a product manager, you'd never just build a product and randomly fling it into the market, right? Of course not. Your career is way too important for that kind of haphazard approach. It deserves the same thought, the same strategy.
And that, right there, is the single biggest mindset shift you have to make. To really crush it in today's market, you've got to stop thinking of yourself as just another candidate. You are the product.
Okay, so how do we actually launch this product? Well, we're going to follow a classic product lifecycle. First up, phase 1, we define our strategy. Then phase 2, we build all our assets. Phase 3 is the big one, our go-to-market plan. And finally, phase 4, we analyze the data and iterate. Then we'll wrap it all up with the mindset that holds this whole thing together.
All right, let's dive into phase 1. Define yourself. This is all about your core product strategy. I mean, it's simple, right? You can't sell something effectively if you don't know exactly what it is you're selling. And that brings us to the very first step, which is to define you as the product.
Look, the market in 2026 isn't hiring generic product managers anymore. They are hiring specialized problem solvers. So the number one question you have to answer with crystal clarity is, what specific, painful problem do you solve for a business? And to really nail this down, you've got to ask yourself 3 big questions. First, what business problem am I truly great at solving? Second, what are the hard numbers, the measurable outcomes I've actually delivered? And third, what's my turf? What's my domain expertise? Are we talking AI, SaaS, fintech? Get specific.
And when you do that work, you end up with something like this. This is so much better than I'm a product manager. This is a sharp, powerful positioning statement. It tells people exactly who you help, what you do, and how you do it. It screams value.
Okay, on to step 2.
So you've defined your product. What's next? You got to define your customer, right? This is your ideal company profile, or ICP. Seriously, stop wasting time scrolling through random job boards. You need to start targeting specific ecosystems where your unique value is going to shine.
And again, you have to get really specific here. Are you aiming for an AI-first company, or is fintech your jam? Do you thrive in that crazy early-stage 0 to 1 startup chaos, or are you better in a growth-stage company? Nailing this down gives you a focused hit list of maybe 30 to 50 companies to go after.
All right, moving on to phase 2. This is where we build your assets. You've got your strategy locked down. Now it's time to create the stuff you'll actually use for your big product launch.
So let's talk step 3. This one's huge. It's about building your AI-augmented personal brand. What does that mean? It means using AI tools to help you consistently share your product thinking out in the open on places like LinkedIn. Trust me, in 2026, recruiters and hiring managers are looking at these public signals, your thoughts, your analyses, long before your resume even crosses their desk. And that leads us right into step 4. You need more than just an online presence. You need tangible launch assets. A resume just doesn't cut it anymore. A modern candidate needs proof of how they think. We're talking killer case studies packed with metrics, smart product teardowns, and yeah, even quick prototypes you can whip up with AI tools to show, not just tell people how you operate.
Which brings us to phase 3, go-to-market time. You've defined the product, you've built the assets. Now it's time to get out there and actually launch.
And this is step 5 of the framework.
How you talk to the market is everything. Remember, great careers are built through networks, not by clicking apply on job portals. And just look at this difference. It's night and day, right? The weak approach is so passive, but the strong approach, it's this direct pitch using that positioning statement we worked on. It's confident, it's specific, and it starts a real conversation.
And that brings us to our final phase, phase 4, analyze and iterate. Any good PM knows a product launch is never one and done. It's just the beginning. You have to be obsessed with the data and feedback so you can constantly get better.
Step 6 is where the magic really happens. This is where you become a data scientist for your own career. You need to treat your job search like a conversion funnel and track these metrics. If you're getting ghosted by recruiters, hey, it's not you, it's your pitch that's broken. If you keep bombing interviews, your storytelling needs work. This lets you debug the system, not your feelings. It's a game changer. And the last two steps, 7 and 8, are all about keeping this improvement loop going. Step 7 is about hammering home your clear, consistent story in every single conversation. And Step 8 is absolutely critical. Every interview? That's not an interview. It's a user research session. You listen for what's confusing, what's not landing, and you tweak your pitch for the next one.
So, let's wrap this all up. What is the big takeaway here? What is the core mindset you absolutely need to succeed in 2026 and beyond?
When you boil it all down, the modern PM market rewards 4 things above all else. 1. Having a super clear positioning. 2. Making your product thinking visible to the world. 3. Having tangible proof of your skills. And 4. Operating with an AI-native mindset. This whole framework is built to get you there.
So if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. Don't run your career like a resume-blasting campaign. Run it like a world-class product launch. Because in this market, you are the product.
And that just leaves one final, simple question for you to answer. What's your launch date?